Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got HEX, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? It's hard to believe that something like this exists. I get it, but you just gotta come to terms with reality. It just exists. Nothing we can do about it. Buy a steak and chill, baby. Shout out to Market with Thoughts.
Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody. My God. Hex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets it. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Yo, what's going on, homies? Hope everybody's doing all right. It is the 12th of December, and it's been a hell of a week if you've been paying attention to what's been going on Twitter. You know, oh, crap. Hold on, guys. I gotta pick up a call. Jesus. Excusez-moi. I am back. So yeah, it's been crazy, right? I mean, if you've been on the side of truth for however long, everything you've been talking about just been validated. So, and the best part um, is that we're just getting started, right? And I told you guys a long time ago this was gonna happen because that's the way it works, right? And just like I told you guys, everything that they're doing is unlawful and all of that. And now it's being fully exposed, right? All of that is true, and this is why I always told you guys, go look it up. You don't got to take my word for it because what I say doesn't matter. I'm merely a conduit for information. So now we just get to sit back, laugh, and enjoy the show because at the end of the day, what's changed so far? Well, what's changed is that now the flow of information that you see is not anything like what it used to be. Right now, it's clearer that the majority seeks truth. The majority doesn't side with craziness. The majority doesn't side with narcissists, doesn't side with pedophiliacs. It doesn't side with rapists. It doesn't side with all these psychos that are out there. Normal people don't want nothing to do with any of these things that these folks are trying to impose on us. Simple and plain. So, it's a shame that it took $44 billion for it to come out because people are too hell-bent on believing a narrative instead of just accepting that things don't make sense for a reason, even if they're not in plain sight. So with that being said, if you still happen to come across people that are just not on the side of truth, you got to realize you just got to dismiss them. They don't matter. The future is here. Those people that side with the liars, side with the pedophiles, side with the rapists, side with the human traffickers, all these people that side with them, they don't matter. Their opinions are irrelevant. Their thoughts are irrelevant. Their existence, in fact, is irrelevant. They hold no sway. They hold no weight. And now it's clearer than ever who these people are. So if you're not paying attention, that's cool. You don't have to. But just understand that you don't matter. Because that's just the way the cookie crumbles in 2022. And the further in time we go, the less so that people that fall in that camp are going to matter. It's just going to be like all these losers in fake crypto that are not parroting everything we've been talking about for years. Same exact thing, right? You're going to see all these commies now try to uplift the Constitution because Trump is shitting on it. Because people that don't understand. So now it just gets more and more interesting as time passes, right? Now we have nothing but full proof that all the COVID stuff was strictly manipulation of statistical data. And given that people don't really understand anything about math, not hard to see why that worked, right? Not rocket science. But at the end of the day, what's important is that we realize that we have to educate others, right? And those that are ready and willing to receive the education, it's not going to be a thing to them. It's going to be whatever. They're not going to care. Um, so you have to realize that we are in a time where we must move forward. We can't keep pretending to drag these people that don't want to learn. After 30 months of your human rights being violated, if you don't understand what's going on by now, you just don't matter. It's really that simple. It's not an opinion, it's just a fact. Nobody's going to wait for you. Nobody's going to care about you. Just like government don't give a rat's ass about all these homeless people living in the street, we're not going to give a rat's ass about you wanting to be like them. Why should we? We have no interest in cities full of homeless people, in cities full of junkies living in the streets. All these things that we are accustomed to in these cities. All that's going to change slowly but surely. Because what people don't realize is the mental manipulation that's been done to make that acceptable. So now we have to reverse all that. And we're going to do it because what the hell else do we got to do? There is nothing else to do out here. So it's like I've been telling you guys for the longest time. And I have not lied yet. You see it. Google's going down. Twitter went down. Facebook's going down. Instagram's going down. It's obvious the feds are involved and at the root of all things that are going wrong in this country. Period. It's not even an opinion. It's not a theory. It's a fact. It's evidentiary fact. And I've showed it umpteen times in umpteen ways. But people still need some centralized figure like Elon to bless their stupid brain so that they can actually use it and be like, oh, okay, it's true. Yay, Elon. Good for you guys. Congratulations. Golf clap for you motherfuckers that need somebody to tell you what's going on. Congratulations. Welcome to the party. You mad late, but welcome nonetheless. And I was thinking the other day, with all this Rona stuff going on, everybody dying left and right. Yo, when you see these cats do the spin and drop, it's quite something. I don't know if you guys even know what I'm talking about. I don't even have a video ready to show, and it's a shame. I wish I would have. But it's so sad to see. I don't really want to watch it, but I've seen it enough to know, it's just crazy. How do you put yourself in a position where, man, you just understand when you're being lied to, right? And that's hard for a lot of people. I mean, I really think back to my early days, like when I was younger, and try to assess what the hell I was thinking when I was hearing all this fake information. You know what I'm saying? And it brings me back to my time in high school when I remember running into Marine recruiters. And it was just something about how these dudes sold you the game. You know, it was nothing like the Army dude. The Army dude was a lazy motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He made it look like something to do. But these Marine dudes, they was going so hard, pushing it, and it was just so fake when it came from them. You know, and it could have been a whole different scenario if maybe the Marine recruiter had the Army recruiter's demeanor. Maybe I would have joined the Marine Corps instead of the Army, right? But it's just that demeanor, right? That attitude, that energy that pushed me specifically in a certain direction versus another one. And that energy is always prevalent when you're being lied to. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you accept information for what it is, for example, when I joined the service, I knew what I was doing. I was fully aware that I could end up in war and all these things that people like to think, you know, oh, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. Of course you knew, man. Get out of here. Like, you joined the fucking, armed service. Like, this not an option. Like, yeah, you could go to war. We got somebody joining us, Mr. Cryptomatic.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, homie? How you doing?
Are you done ranting?
Nah, we just talking. Ain't no ranting.
We're just talking.
Yeah, just talking, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about what's going on.
War
Right.
stories. Yes, sir.
Oh, no, I'm relating that to how we know when we're being lied to,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like I told y'all before, when I found myself in the desert being told not to defend myself, well, I had to make a decision, right? And I mean, I'm here, so what the fuck your decision you think I made? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna tell me to live or die. And this is the the craziest thing that I just saw happen for the past 30 months. People literally let some other motherfucker tell them that they could live or die, that they could do this or that. And it's still happening in a lot of ways. And this Twitter file shit is major because it lets people know that they were being lied to. Even though people like me, which are many of us, been screaming this shit since day one. And only now is it even becoming okay to a point. And then you still got motherfuckers living that lie. It's crazy. So the whole point about it is if we're trying to move forward with the future, we can't move forward with motherfuckers like that because they stuck in the past. That's a fact. People that can't accept that they've been lied to are not useful to society, period. We got to rebuild, for real. We live in a world where all the institutions that people thought were worth a damn are not. Period. That's not even a fucking opinion. That's a fact. All the colleges, all the higher educational institutions, all the Ivy Leagues, all the motherfuckers making the rules and regulations that you think are there to protect you are literally scamming you out of every fucking thing. And the latest for those that don't know, John Kerry proposes that the U.S. pay climate reparations, folks. Climate reparations. Chew on that shit. Chew on that shit. What the fuck does that even mean? Climate reparations. What the fuck is that? Well, in short, it's just another way to scam you out your fucking money, which they already print out of thin air any fucking way. So you got to ask the question, what's really going on? And Twitter files is just a small sliver of everything that's going on.
But Twitter files, what's the deal? Is that like saying that and so they suppressed
You don't
people
know
with
what
a
the fuck Twitter
certain
files is, bro? You really not paying
political
attention?
agenda, and like
Are you really not paying attention to the Twitter files? That's literally the most important thing happening in the world right
no,
now.
it
And you're
was a
not paying attention.
rhetorical question. Of course, I'm paying attention.
Okay. Well, what the Twitter files is basically full exposure of all internal communications, plus, well, really all relevant communications relating to the management of Twitter and the content on it and how it's purveyed to the user and how they pluck people and how they allow certain narratives to be displayed and how the government was literally in communication with people at Twitter to remove certain content from the platform.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know what the fuck that is, that's called suppression of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That's huge. Here in the US of A, I don't know about everywhere else where people don't care about their rights, but here where we care about our rights, that shit is huge. Now, I
But
don't know
I'm
if people realize
but
how
I'm not
huge.
surprised.
Yo,
I'm not
of course
surprised.
not. No, of course not. It shouldn't be surprising. It shouldn't be surprising at all. When you can't talk about a group of people or a fucking subject matter, clearly there's fucking censorship going on. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been talking about this for 2 years, and people really want to be out here pretending like that shit wasn't happening. Now it's all in your face. What the fuck you got to say now? Yeah, everybody's super fucking quiet. Just like that. Yeah, they ain't saying shit. Oh, yeah. What the fuck they gonna say? Oh, a motherfucker like me gonna talk all the shit in the world because a motherfucker like me been talking about this shit here for 20 years, bro. This ain't day one for me. This is day, I don't even know, 10,000, whatever the fuck day number it is. So the fact that it had to come to this is disgusting to me because what the fuck have you been doing with your life that it took some lame-o from South Africa to buy a social media platform for you to see that you're being lied to? That's the question you should be asking yourself if you really ain't fucking knowing what the hell's been going on. Because that's a real self-check that you got to do. That's real. Because that means you were just lied to for however long you've been around and you was just dismissing it at every possible turn for no good reason. Period. No good reason. Because everything that's been invoked on the population has literally been rescinded in reverse as if it was never meant to happen. To the point that these motherfuckers is asking for amnesty. Yeah, they ask for amnesty because they know they're fucked. How does it feel? Feels good to me. I love it. I can't wait to see the end result. Because even though it's a show I'm gonna get to talk shit about.
But
Because
again, back
man, it's
back to
too
my
easy.
back to my question. Like so the story is that Twitter HQ has been in bed
Manipulating.
with the Democratic side, right? And that's why
No.
any other narratives have
Not
been
the Democratic
suppressed.
side. Let's be careful here when we talk about this because this is very critical. It highlights the ineffectiveness of all politicians, period. Because it's not just the Democratic side. It is also the Republicans. So let's not get it fucked up. It's two wings on the same bird.
Hmm.
Period. And that's everywhere in the world. Because everywhere in the world, the same thing was happening. In your country, Australia, New Zealand, all these countries, that shit is going down. End of discussion. If you think it's happening in the US and you see it's happening in the US, you'd be a fucking fool to think it's not happening anywhere else. Of course it is. But people in other countries don't give a fuck about their rights. That's why they live in other countries. Serious.
Hmm.
That's a fact. Because what happens is that now this happened to me. This is how I know. I used to be of the mind frame, oh, fuck America, this, that, and the third. But what happens? How do you even get to that point? And that's what I had to realize. Like, hold on, what am I even saying? Fuck America, why? What? How? What did America do to me? Right? I started thinking like that. Like, hold on, what's going on? Because this doesn't make any sense. Right? And that's when I realized, oh shit, that's what they want you to think. Why? Why not? Who wins in that equation? I live here. I was born here. Why would I say fuck America? This is my shit, bro. This is my shit. This ain't your shit. This is my shit. How am I say fuck me? Right? That's what they want you to think. Think about it. Look at what they did to Germans. Y'all motherfuckers got no self-respect. Look at Australia. Look at Canada. This is real life. This is not an opinion. Because the way your society functions is a function of that reality, not my opinion. You understand? Like, that's real. Look at New Zealand and look at Australia. They out here just snatching kids from people. Because they fucking feel like it, bro. And they can't hide it because guess what? They don't control Twitter no more. So good luck to them. Something's going to happen. If you think it's not, good luck to you. Because Because definitely something's happening. Because that's where we're going. The world's changing. And people that can't get on the fucking mission, can't get on the message, can't figure out what's coming, well, they're going to get caught up in it. I mean, we're talking about a world where pedophilia runs what is good and what is bad. Pedophiles, people with all types of skeletons in their closet determine your future, what happens, what you can say, what you can do, when you can go work, when you can't. Like, this is what really happened for the past 30 months. We're not letting that shit slide. You can get a comfortable all you want if you're hearing this conversation. Sucks to be you, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
I find it super hard to decipher in these times what is what.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because there is too much propaganda on both sides of
that's
the
right. And that's why
conversation.
And that's why you have to always defer to basic human rights. You don't need all these political ideologies. They're meaningless and useless. I've always said that. What's changed? Nothing. Republicans didn't do anything. Democrats haven't done anything. Who's doing anything for who? Nobody. Only the people that give a fuck about human rights are doing anything. People like me that spend the past fucking decade on Twitter blowing that motherfucker up. Plenty of motherfuckers out there like me playing digital soldier. Because that's what has to happen. It's an information war. Because people like you can't decipher. So you need to see conflicting messages. So you don't know what the fuck to do. Because you got to know somebody's fucking lying.
Yeah, but how is that helping, though? We need to bring the truth on.
How is it not? How can the truth be found when you're not searching for it? You're waiting for somebody to give it to you. Think about it. Got you on that one. Yeah, it's all right. I got it all figured
waiting
out.
for somebody. No, I'm looking for it. But
no, you're
not.
Know, how the fuck I find it, but you didn't.
You think there are certain people that whose opinion is trustworthy because they're in your camp and they might be.
I don't know about all that. I don't really go off opinions. I go off of certifiable information, bro. Like all the things I've talked about, I've proven, I've shown, like all of this. But yet people try to go against what I'm saying because they want to have their opinion. So it's not the same whatsoever when I speak versus when somebody else speaks. And if you can't tell the difference between somebody sharing an opinion and somebody sharing a fact with you, you're the problem, not the person relaying the information. And that's a big chunk of the miscommunication that I get from outsiders, from people that don't fucking speak my language. It's not me, it's them, because they want to hear somebody tell them what to think. But you're not going to get that with me, ever. Right? And people don't like that. That's why people don't like the hour-long plus streams. They want to be told what to do and what the fuck and what to drink and what to smoke and 10 minutes or less and get the fuck moving. That's what people want. But that's not reality. Right? That's the whole thing. Like, this is the time for people to get right. There is no optionality here. Right? Because what are you optioning for? To be lied to more so you can die quicker? Because it's like we said all along, they're out here trying to kill people or worse. And it's evident. It's proven fact. Thanks for the super chat, homie. When you see an ineffective policy that never changes, it's because someone is making money. Money equals unchecked power and control. And if we haven't learned that yet from seeing how this so-called World Economic Forum is embedded in all nexuses of society all over the West, then you are in effect part of the problem. Pretty simple. Thank you for your comment, Alan. Appreciate that. I mean, at this point in time, it's not rocket science. And it could sound like I'm being harsh, but it's just the facts. You don't got to like them. It's just the facts. We're at a point in time when people with opinions no longer matter. They don't. Never have. But it took a whole lot of 44 billion transactions for motherfuckers to realize that. And here's the thing. Once again, this is just the start. You guys have no idea what's coming. If you think Twitter files is bad, ho ho ho. Do we have jokes in store for you? Now let's see what today's Twitter files bring. Let's see. Let's peruse, and then we'll get into some short action just for the good of the good old days, just because it's fun to talk about what people pretend to understand. All right, let's see what's going on here. Uh, this is in regards to the removal of Trump from Twitter today. Now, why is this important? Because I don't give a fuck about Trump at all. Why should you? He's not doing nothing for you, is he? I mean, as of now, doesn't seem to be. But it's very critical that you understand why he was the first target, why he had to be knocked off. It wasn't because RH man bad, it's because that's what they wanted you to think. Right? That's what they really wanted you to think. This random guy who had some influence somewhere, I don't know where, is bad for one reason or another. Now, the whole idea behind getting you to hate this guy was so that you could be against anything he did. That's it. Because guess what? A lot of the things that they're doing nowadays are the same exact policies that this motherfucker was doing himself. How about that?
Well, you know, I'm not a Trump fan, but the
Who
one
cares?
thing I like that he ran on was the let's drain the swamp. But turns out didn't do much draining, did he?
Well, what could he do when he's surrounded by the enemy? And this is the thing that people don't realize. You have to understand that every person is its own entity, especially in this political sphere. Because what is the whole point of being in politics, as far as we know? Not Trump, because Trump isn't a politician. So we got to think about not Trump when we're talking about politics, because this is the problem. People try to throw him in there with politicians, and he's not one, right?
Yeah, that's what he ran on.
Correct. Well, it's because he's not
Politicians
one.
are, what did he say? All talk, no action.
Well,
And
yeah,
I'm
obviously,
bringing
yeah.
the action.
Well, obviously, right? So what happened? Well, what happened is that this guy was trying to get them to do things they didn't want to do.
Mhm.
So anything that he recommended, bad. You shouldn't want it, right? And now, how do you get everybody to go against logic? How do you do that? You're older than me. Answer that question. You should have that answer. How do you get people to go against logic? It's very simple.
But you need to get money out of politics. And
Nah, you're not
that's
answering the question, bro. Answer the question, because we gotta help people understand how we even got to this point where people think it's okay to hate some dude just because some other motherfucker said so. Like, this is what Trump is all about. Trump is irrelevant outside of that. Trump was merely a tool that allowed the enemy to manipulate the masses to hate on each other for no reason whatsoever.
the division of the country. You
That's right. Divide and conquer.
mean. Okay.
That's right. And this is critical that we understand this. Because how do we fall into these scenarios where we're not liking each other without even having a conversation? It's exactly that. We're being driven to feeling certain things that we don't have any business feeling. Like the man oppressing me and my progress in life. Oh, I spent half my life, or at least a third of it, thinking that stupid shit. When it was me the whole fucking time. How many other people out there blocking themselves thinking it's some third fucking party when in fact it's them? You see, this is exactly the same thing. To pretend that it's not is to lie to yourself, because you don't know, nobody knows anything about Trump. I don't give a fuck about this dude. I'm not talking about him in a positive way. I'm merely highlighting how people are mentally manipulated to being stupid, because that's what it's about. It's about understanding how these narratives are built. I mean, you got rappers talking about this dude. What the fuck do they know about anything outside of selling crack or whatever they doing on the block? You understand?
Well,
Like
if you're an
that,
artist in hip hop, traditionally you're leaning towards the Obama side, so that shouldn't be a
no, that's
surprise.
not what happened. You know what happened with that? Because I'm gonna help you out. Because everybody that's on that dick riding train
Mhm.
is just that, and you've been led to believe that that's what's happening. But no, what happened is Obama allowed the minorities to lean one way politically, whether it be white or black. That's all. It gave them a party. That's all Obama did. It gave them the ability to manipulate the minority's mind. That's all it did. What the fuck did Obama do for anybody of fucking color? I'm still waiting. I'm still fucking waiting, and I live in the hood. Fuck, Chicago's getting shot the fuck up daily. So again, explain to me what value add he had on the community.
Well, I guess it's the same situation as Trump was
Yes.
in when he tried to drain the swamp and couldn't drain
But
it. Same as
no.
black people thought, oh,
Nope.
Obama is our guy. He will get us out the hood or something. And then he found
Mm,
himself
no.
not
That's
being
what they
able
would
to do
want
that
you to
because
think.
of the system, right?
That's what they would want you to think. That's what they would want you to think. But look at his activities. That's how you know what he did. We don't need to speculate, my brother. There's no reason to speculate whatsoever. The evidence is clear. This man was sending drones across the world to blow up people that look like him and me and you. So these are the facts. This is not speculation. So again, he was used to manipulate people to think a certain way because nobody is doing any further research outside of the sound bites, the shit that the mainstream media, which is not touching Twitter files at all. You don't hear that shit anywhere on TV. Nowhere. It's like it doesn't exist.
The drone strikes, yeah, everybody knows that.
You might. You don't hear them talking about it. You don't hear anybody talking about drone strikes.
Yeah,
No, and you know what? They've been happening since 2005.
yeah.
You don't hear anybody talking about that. And guess what? They're still happening. Okay? So this is all to say, why? Why is it okay? Well, it's because some random motherfucker said so. Just like it was okay for some random motherfuckers to say Trump got to go off this platform. And the thing about it is, it just starts with a random motherfucker. But then it becomes common practice. And then nobody can say shit. And then the next thing you know, we're living in fucking China or Hong Kong. Or Canada. Whatever. Like, or fucking the UK. I hear they got cops coming to your door now for fucking social posts. Like, whatever. If you don't respect yourself, that's the kind of shit that happens at the end of the day. So I don't feel sorry for anybody that lives in those countries. That shit is happening because y'all don't care about yourselves. Assuming it's even true. Because for all we know, they're just headlines. We don't
Well,
really
the
know.
UK stuff is probably a bit blown out of proportion, but I know
I don't
that
know.
they just been arresting 25 to 30 people just last week in Germany for
Yeah, I heard about that.
hate posting.
I don't. Was it about hate? I think it was something else. I don't know if it was about that.
It's
Was it
hate
about that?
posting, but like not just you're an asshole. It was like death threats to politicians, like serious shit.
Right. Gotcha.
So I'm saying, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's arrest them. Let's question them.
I mean, look, if that's how it works, okay. But here's the danger with that, and this is what people don't understand.
That's like freedom of speech taken a
Yeah.
bit too far,
Well, no, it's not that.
like
I mean,
bringing violence to that. You know.
Well, it depends, right?
So
Because
where's the line there to cross?
well, here's the thing. If we spent all day policing people's speech on social media,
Mhm.
nobody would ever get anything done. That's a fact. It's not an opinion.
Hmm.
So, are we really going to pretend to have the ability and the lack of nothing better to do than to police people's speech? I mean, let's be honest. I'm from the hood, bro. I've heard the most ignorant shit in my whole life ever. Like, no white person can match it. I don't give a fuck. And they're the ones making the rules.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to take it there, let's take it there for a second. So, why is it that to me, a person that grew up with the grimiest, nastiest vernacular fucking verbiage that you can imagine, I've never had a problem defending my stance in any capacity, in any conversation with anybody,
Mhm.
unless they were just not willing to actually engage in conversation. And I'm from nowhere, New York City. And there's nothing but people here trying to crowd you out from existing because it's a city. That's how people progress, right? That's how it works. It's a social game. So, how do you come to the conclusion that some random people trying to tell you what to say or do in some virtual space, not even a real space, because let's be honest, if we're talking about person to person interaction, who,
Hmm.
you know, there's not going to be any of this to even concern ourselves with, right? We don't have to worry about freedom of speech or none of that because nobody's going to disrespect anybody unless they're ready to put themselves at risk, right? That's a fact, not an opinion.
Yeah, but there's some dangerous motherfuckers out there.
So,
Like here,
you
they
think
were
them
like
typing something to you is going to make a difference? You need to be worried about the motherfuckers being around you.
they were plotting to like kidnap our Secretary of Health, like the health
Oh
minister.
wow, the person that killed a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Good,
that one.
good,
And
good. It's too bad it didn't get away with it.
his Secret Service guys were supposed to be shot and then him kidnapped. That's like they were plotting for that, and they were
And where's the evidence?
pretty close to executing. And
Yeah, were
that's
they?
then
Where's
when
the
they
evidence? I mean, who made this? Who exposed this? Who exposed it?
well, Secret Service, of course.
They exposed it.
They're all over
The
the.
Secret
Well, it's still
Service.
an ongoing
Time out.
investigation type thing.
Time out. Time out. The
No, no,
Secret
not time out. You
Service.
had the same happening with the what's it,
Hold
the
on.
lady from the north?
Lady from the north.
Yeah, from Michigan, that governor,
yeah,
which
yeah.
almost happened.
Isn't that convenient? Isn't
That's
that
similar
convenient?
story, isn't it?
Isn't it convenient? You don't
Well,
find it odd.
they
You
also
think that's
arrested those
truthful?
guys.
You think it's truthful? I mean, just so you know, it's already been exposed that that was a lie. Just in case you didn't know.
I thought it's still court hearings going on.
No,
I
that's
don't know.
already been exposed as a lie. And even if there are court hearings, it doesn't matter. It's already been exposed as a lie.
Hmm.
So they're just going through the motions because they can. It's their court, right? Because you have to understand how even that works. Everything isn't cut and dry, especially when everything is layered upon lies. And this is what's hard for people to come to terms with. You gotta stop accepting whatever narrative is given to you. You just gotta stop. Period. I mean, this is what this shit is all about. How in the fuck is the most powerful person, quote unquote, removed from a social media platform where it's supposed to be that any schmuck can come and talk? And we're here having some kind of conversation about it being sound. Like, it's not sound, bro. It's stupid. You cannot police people's speech anywhere, period. In a discussion. And the only place it should matter is in fucking person, because that's the only time shit gets done. In the discussion. Who gives a fuck about what some cocksucker is saying online? Should I run around beating up everybody that says negative shit about me? Because I'm Wales only? Like, wake the fuck up, bro. Like, that's what these grown folks want. This is what these morons, these evil motherfuckers want people thinking. That makes some kind of sense. That, yes, we can have this person removed from this social media platform because we feel like it, because we don't like what he's saying. That's what that is. Who the fuck are y'all? And who gave y'all the right and the power? I don't. Because then I'm next. It's only a matter of when, not a matter of if.
But can't you see that as that when it's invading a person's space
Yo, there is no space online,
and
my man.
possibly safe
There
to,
is no space online. If they're not
that's
coming to
then
you in your
taking it
face,
too far.
if they're not coming to you in your face, there is no action being taken. So it's not going anywhere. How is it even going far?
Did you see today on Twitter what happened to BitBoy? What he posted with his family?
Do you know how that even happens?
Yeah.
Are you sure you know? Because I don't think you do.
Okay, run it.
You think nobody knows where that man lives? He's a public figure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think that when they call in a SWAT, nobody does any research into that? They're just going to show up at that address in record time and that's that. You think no research goes into that process?
Well, I just saw his video and they explained.
I didn't watch the video. I'm asking you if you know how it works. I don't give a fuck about what they said.
But it's him and his wife
Okay.
detailing
But what's the relevance?
Detailing what happened there. And
They
no, there
know
wasn't no
who-
research because they
They
got a
know
call.
who
The
sent the
kids are
SWAT to
in
their house.
danger,
They
and
know who sent
then
the
they
SWAT to their
rolled in.
house. I'm asking you, did they state who sent the SWATs to their house? Because that's what I'm asking you.
They
Because this
said
is the
that this
question.
will be followed up now.
Oh, so they don't know. And this is what I'm asking you. Because that's what it's about. Where was he a few days ago?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
snap.
Snap. It's like magic. It's like magic. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying, bro.
Okay, I give you that
This
one.
No, you can't give me that one. You got to give them to me, period. Because what I'm saying is sensible. What you're saying is ridiculous. And it's no offense to you. It's because you're towing the wrong line. Nobody gets to curtail anybody's random speech. It's like saying you can't write a certain book. Like, what? No, man. If nobody wants to read that shit, go write your book. Nobody's probably going to read it, though, if it's bullshit. And that's all that should really matter. Why is it that people have to pretend that they can stop somebody from saying some shit? You cannot, and you will not. Period. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's never going to change, bro. So for people to think that in 2022 that's ever going to happen is comical. There is zero reason for that to happen. And it's not going to start now because there's plenty of people like me that are going to talk this talk. I'm not the only person that's saying that this shit is crazy and not sensible and ridiculous and illogical. I mean, it's the height of stupidity. Height of stupidity. I mean, it's never going to work. Stop pretending. This is why you can't have anybody dictating who can be on any platform in the first place. This is why Twitter Files number 5 gets its own day and is just about the removal of one person. That's it. And why that one person? Because if they can remove this one person in that position, then who the fuck are we? Does that make sense? Because that's the facts, bro. If you think Trump could just be removed for no reason, then who the fuck are you? You just got suspended, right?
I did 2 weeks ago. It sucks.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't it?
It sucks. I grinded 3.5 years to get to the follower amount that I had, and they just clips it off like that. No communication.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's talking to me. Nothing.
And you know what? You just said that was
they
okay.
did me like Trump.
And you just said that was okay. You realize this, right? Oh, you don't think you said it was okay?
It's not the same, though.
Oh, it's not the same. Oh my God, it's not the
There's
same.
politics involved here.
There's politics. Oh,
why
so
do you think the
different.
Democrats wanted Trump off
somehow
Twitter?
It's different, though. But hold on, you somehow think it's different when it's not. And until you can wrap your head around that, you can't speak to the topic because you're not understanding the topic at hand.
I came here to talk hex, but we can also talk Trump.
But here's the thing. You can't talk hex without talking politics because guess what? It's the only crypto out there.
It is.
Oh, yes, but people were giving me shit 2 years ago about saying that. Not anymore. Funny how times change. And this is where we're at. This is why we're talking about all this stuff, right? All this shit is crazy, bro. All these things play into the macro economy, believe it or not, because it drives what people are thinking and perceiving. You understand that? Like, that's actually important to understand because this is why we're talking about all of that. It's not because of Trump. It's because of the social implications and societal implications behind that. What kind of world are we going to live in when people can't innovate? When people can't do what they want to do? We're going to live in a shitty world. And if we don't realize that that's what's going on, that that's where they're trying to take us, I mean, this is ridiculous. This guy is on all the shit that happened is on record. I've talked about it before. All they did was get him off Twitter so nobody could see the things he was saying to get people to not fall trapped, to not fall victim to the setup that was set for them for this period of time, January 6th, January 7th. That's all this is about.
Yep.
That's
I was
it.
just about to say that. That's the other side story.
That's the side story. But that's, again, why we got to understand that the side stories develop the overall story. Because look at this BitBoy shit. You know, people were joking, yo, you got security on Twitter. And look at what happened. They waited till that motherfucker came back home to light his shit up. And to sit here and pretend it's not the enemy is childish. It's childish because it's a real war out here. To sit here and pretend that these people don't have anything at stake and they're not going to kill you for whatever reason is childish. They're out here killing crypto people left and right. You see the headlines. They have no qualms making an example out of people. I've explained all of this before. And if you think that all of this evidence coming out via the Twitter files isn't evidence, then, what can we say or do with somebody with that frame of thought? I mean, listen, we have to do the right thing and ban this account. What? It's pretty obvious he's going to try to thread the needle of incitement without violating the rules, said another. Come on. After 2 years, we all know what happened. So to even go into detail with all of this is crazy because it's not necessary. What's necessary is to understand the why, because that's really all it's about. I mean, how long is this thread? Let's see, 23 tweets so far, 30, and there's more. Let's see. I'm sure there's more. 35, 36. I mean, come on, 45. And there might be the finale. I mean,
but everybody knows that that's what happened. So
hold
is the
on.
exciting thing now because it's on record or what?
Everybody knows now. No, everybody doesn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly why it's getting released in this fashion, because social media is the place where the news went to make the news. This is where they went to lie to everybody, to get people to go against one person for one reason or another, to the point that they even lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, they spent years denying that. Since 2018, that's been out. 2018, it's 2022, about to be 2023. And let me tell you something. That thing has been floating around since 2017. People have known. So, no, people don't know. No, they don't. Because people believe what they're told. This is why people want 10-minute videos. I mean, this is literally the most important development in the future of crypto, bar none. because it just highlights the danger in middlemen. You had all these people working at Twitter, and their sole purpose was to filter what you saw on the platform, because 75% of the people that work there no longer do. How about that? Crazy, right?
I'm not impressed. I still see a lot of shit on Twitter
Well, hey,
that
you
I
got to
wish was
realize,
censored.
how old is Twitter?
Yeah.
This dude just got his hands on it. He's still cleaning it up, right?
Yeah, I think it started 2007. My profile that just got vanished was from 2009, so I'm
I've been banned off Twitter at least 4 times.
4 times.
So, whatever.
But it sucks, man. That was a lot of work to get this account to where it is.
Yo,
Shit.
guys, I wasn't being mean to DJ. I'm sorry if it
Yeah,
sounded that way.
the chat is like mocking me here. Like,
I'm sorry.
fuck
No,
you
no,
guys.
no, no.
I'm translating in the back
Yeah,
of
no.
my head all the time.
Yeah,
Have this
no.
conversation in German, yo.
So let
I'm
me
trying my
explain
hardest to keep it leveled.
the dynamic between me and Cryptomatic. Cryptomatic is cool as a cucumber. I'm high pressure. So it sounds like I'm talking to him a certain way, but I'm just talking. I'm not talking to him. So I'm sorry if it comes off that way. It's just that this is a very motivating topic to me, because we need to really grasp the seriousness.
No, it's a teachable moment.
100%. Right? Because it's not even about the biggest picture of all. Because in order for people to see the big picture, they got to see the little pieces within the little picture. Right? And this is why I love this comment. This is a Hollywood movie. Right? If you have eyes to see, and it's true. Because let's go back to 2015, 2016. Who remembers the Me Too movement? I mean, yo, the Tea Party. I remember all of that. I was an adult when all this shit was happening, and it didn't make any sense. Yeah, this is it.
Yo,
I'm just fired
let
up.
me tell you this. I'm an analytical person. Like, I don't get excited about something that easy. Like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
know all the ins and outs before I go like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Like,
You're
I'm
German. I can feel it.
just because it's like yeah, that's maybe the German in me, but
It
it's
is.
just because it's on the feed right now, I'm not going all gung ho about it. So that is where I'm coming from. So it might sound a little bit questioning and a bit slow, but that's just me trying to make up my mind.
Mm-hmm. No. It's all good. Yeah, and people definitely got to understand that. So and it's one of those things. It's like when we sit here and talk about crypto, talk about this, talk about that. We're never gonna have real crypto when the EU, the Asia is buckling. Never gonna have real crypto. I
Mm.
mean, people over there just don't respect their basic human rights, and because you don't respect your basic human rights, you cannot crypto, because you think KYC makes sense. You think all these invasive policy and procedures that are not legal, that are illegal, that are legal, whatever you want to call it, but
Yeah.
in fact they're unlawful, because what's happening is you're giving up your private information. Somebody else has control over it, and if they lose it, big fucking whoop. It's your problem.
Yeah, my selfies are like on the internet.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, and everybody's selfies are.
Bro, in 2017, I was signing up I don't know. I was on 10 different exchanges or something. Half of them not even around anymore. So and you had the KYC everywhere. And back then
Yeah,
we didn't really think that that was maybe
a
something that you
problem.
shouldn't be doing, or that
Hmm.
they could ever lose this data. And I'm damn sure they lost the data. So
Yeah,
that's identity theft is real. Thank God nothing ever happened, but I can see how that could happen any
yeah. I mean,
moment.
it's a major problem,
Yeah.
and we got to realize that if we're not being adept to what we're doing in real time, we are going to be victims, because the point of crypto is to remove ourselves from a position of weakness. So that means we have to be playing offense, and that means playing defense at the same time. And to a lot of people, that doesn't even make sense. You know, I mean, how do we get to a point where crypto makes sense to a lot of people. They really are of the thought that you have to give up control to some other entity in order to achieve some kind of result. And that's just not the case. It's just not.
Yeah.
So how do we circumvent that? And I think, unfortunately, pure education is only one tool, right? It doesn't work foolproof, because we've tried it, right? We've seen it, we've tried it, and it doesn't work. It only reaches but so many people. So that means that pain is going to be the result that really teaches a lot of people. And the reason for that is because people just, again, they like friction, because we're taught to think that friction is good, and it's just not the case. But until we don't learn that, we don't know that that's not true. It's kind of like DJ was just saying, like, he wants to know the in and outs. He doesn't want to be relying on any guesses or anything like that, right? And that's really the same thing. When you sit there and think about it, you want certainty,
Yeah.
right? And now that immediately when I say that word, what pops into my head is hex by default. Because what do we know happens every day? We get paid that UTC crossover without fail. Now, for us, to us, it's nothing because we're used to it. It's an everyday affair for us. But you guys got to realize, if you've not been in finance and you don't understand like the implication of that rotation of the just the confidence that you don't have to worry, like that is major. I mean, I can't
If you have your
understate how
basic
major that is.
security on point, like, we've seen people lose all their stuff in the community. So
Mhm.
your basic security has to be right, like hardware wallets and all that stuff. And the
Yeah, I
payout
mean,
has been sweet this past week. Like, I think there's been a lot of good accounting going on. I didn't see that many emergency and staking, but I think people have cleared up a few old stake. That's why we had very
mm,
decent payouts.
nice. I mean, we're pretty lucky, man. For people that have been around and have been playing the game the right way, they just
Yeah,
racking up.
imagine not being staked
I can't.
during days like this,
I
when it's
can't.
6.5, 6.8 payouts on a
It's
t-shirt.
unfathomable.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it.
There are
Because,
guys sitting in stables and doing
hey
whatever,
man,
but
I can't understand it. So
that's not us.
nah. No, sir. I ain't
Nope.
doing nothing with that.
But going back to the KYC, like the problem is the on and off ramping, right?
Yeah, yep.
I mean,
Some
everything else
places
inside
easy.
the crypto space, we can really do
So let me give you
self.
guys this website. Funding Jim talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
True USD. Where is it? Here we go. Trust token. It's basically fiat on and off ramp. Because what's happening is that you're actually hold on, because I'm trying to clean up the link. You're actually trying to just convert whatever USD. What's in the US? I don't know. I don't remember what the letter is, but I'm gonna put the link in the chat. But this is a great way, depending on where you live, to on and off ramp into crypto. Let me highlight the link here,
Okay.
just in case uh, people can't see the chat. Um, and go to the site, check it out. It's important stuff to understand, because this is what it's about. Now, let me splice some data here so I can show you guys some charts, just so we can talk about some good stuff, man. All right, I'm already on the BTC. So, because it's the data shows everything, and it's kind of crazy that people just try to ignore the data. I don't really know what to make of it. It's wild to me, but man, people do it. People are really out here ignoring data. And kudos to them, because until I knew, I was ignoring it too. So it's just, somebody got to be the sucker, I guess. I really don't know what to make of it at this point, because when you sit here and you think about the game that's being played, you got to think information is important to some extent, right? I mean, why are we doing this if it's not with the understanding of something,
I
right?
find it comical that we in Hex were still standing like we did in that first year when everything around us is burning. It's like on
Yeah,
fire. All this
it
NFT
really is.
stuff, all this DeFi stuff, all this yield farming. Nothing is worth anything. Tons of things have been rock pulled, and Hex is just chugging along, like, totally unfazed.
I'm
And they call
surprised.
us the scam.
Yeah, but that's what's funny. But that also is what highlights the obviousness of everybody else being a scammer and
Yeah, but
not
also
us.
not doing the research, goddamn it. Like when we can do that, why can't they do that?
Well, this is my point. That's how you know they're scammers. Like, you can only be stupid and ignorant, but for so long before it's obvious that you're just perpetrating a fraud.
Mm,
Yes?
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys see this in Germany, but in the US, frauds happen all the time. And they're not hard to spot here because they happen all the time. So I'm telling you,
Well, we had the
when
Wirecard thing. That was our
yeah,
latest,
well, nobody
most
caught any of that because that shit
biggest.
happened in everybody's faces. I remember that. I remember hearing about that. That was crazy
But that's on
because
the
it,
scale of
yeah,
FTX, like
yeah.
monetary wise,
Oh,
it's
that was the biggest one to date for Germany, right?
crazy.
If I
And
remember,
recent, like this happened, what, 3, 4 years ago? So, like,
yeah, it
it's
was
in
like
modern times.
2019, 2020 or something like that. It was right
Yeah.
before Rona. In
Yeah.
fact, it
And
was definitely
everybody
right before
mingled in government, even the chancellor, and it's crazy.
Rona.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
to the
yeah.
highest
A lot of
offices.
people were a lot of people were caught slipping on that one.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it. Because that's really, what's going on. And it's sad because people just are trying to do the right thing at all times. They really are. But when you don't understand how the system works, you get
Yeah.
blindsided. And this is the problem with dealing with society and how it stands, and not so much sitting idly by, but just thinking it's okay to say nothing. Like, it's not okay to say nothing. It's not, because all you're saying is that it's okay for the liars and the cheaters and and the scammers and the stealers to keep stealing and scamming from you. That's called tacit approval.
Yeah.
And this is why Australia and New Zealand and Canada find themselves in the position that they're in. It's really that simple. You can't pretend that somebody's just going to stop being evil. They're not. They have no incentive to. For what? Like, you're not saying anything. You're not, you don't care. It's whatever. Like, it's all good. Why would they stop?
Mm.
Right? And this is what we see. Right? This is why speaking up is critical. It's supreme. Because if we don't speak up, what happens is that we get lost in translation. We get lost in translation. Nobody wants to be messed up in the game. Nobody. Everybody wants to live a good life. Everybody wants success and all this and all that. Right? Everybody wants to find what they want,
Mm.
but that's not ultimately what happens. And that's a function of people's inability to see beyond themselves. And how do I know? Because, again, we're our own worst enemy. And I know that because I did it to myself. Right? This is how we learn to progress. There is no other way around it, because what else are we supposed to do? Right? I mean, if you're trying to achieve something and you're not able to, well, you must be doing something wrong, right? Something has to be off, because it's not like you're trying to mess things up. So then what's wrong? What are you doing wrong? Right? You got to realize at some point, excuse me, there's something that you're missing. And that's really all it is. Um, I don't think it's any more than that per se. I think that that's really the biggest thing that helps people. How do I say? Realize that they're missing something.
But they don't seem to be learning from their
Hmm.
mistakes.
Yeah, that's an issue, man. And I think that that's why some of us, and I say this because I know it's happened to me. Um, we don't learn until we get beat down a few times. I know it's happened to me, and that's the only reason I can even say that. Like, uh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But
life will beat you down until you listen, yo. Basically.
no, but it's like if you must feel no, if you to learn you must feel like that's I mean, I know that happened to me too. Like I got hacked, I invested in scam
Mm,
ICOs, I
mm,
did all this shit and then
yeah.
and and, and that was bad outcome financially, yeah?
Right. Right.
And that's then how I learned and that's then how I'm able to look at hacks and see, okay, if I do this and if I play it that way, this will not happen to me again with Hex. But that's us here. Like we're a couple of thousand people. Like, but there have been probably hundreds of thousands of people been
Right.
scammed in crypto, like I have been as well in 2017, 18. You know, with the
Yeah.
promise coin space and the roadmaps and all these bullshit stories, these narratives. And Hex is cleaning up with all that for real. And it puzzles me that well, it's actually if you look deeper into it, it's not that puzzling because they they see us as a threat because they very much understand it, you know, but
Yeah.
they try to hide it from the masses. I think
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what it
They
is.
they do. Yeah, I agree. I
That's why
think
we're on
I
page
think we
3
see
in
that.
CoinMarketCap still after 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we see it, right? You really, really see it.
Yeah. It's funny. It's
Um,
us and some Tron affiliate token that they keep hiding on page
really?
3 because like
Huh.
CZ is not down with the Tron camp.
That's
Like,
funny.
you
They're trying
know,
to take out whoever's his enemy, right?
well,
Oh
it's so
man.
clear, but nobody speaks out against it. None of the prominent,
Nah, they don't. They
makes you
don't.
wonder.
Let's see. You guys see that chart? Nice. Okay. All right. So this chart is showing us current holders versus the change
Mm,
in current holders. Okay. Now, the x-axis is almost like time in a way, right? Because the holder count, current holders, only goes up over time, up or down, right? If people are getting out. But most of the time, it's just up, as you can see in this chart. Like,
yeah.
if there was any down change, it would be shown in the axis, but there isn't. So the change in total holders versus current holders is strictly positive, it seems, for the most part. The relative relationship. And it also shows that it seems like the most common change happens down here, right? Smallest change is typically going to be the most common. Um, but if you look at the histogram at the top, does this chart look all right to you guys?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you guys in the chat see it all right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. One of the EU vice presidents. I think she represented Ukraine in some
Yeah, it's
fashion.
big story
Yeah,
right
it's a
now.
major story. But they're not trying to say nothing about it. But that was major. That was major. But
So
yeah,
corruption claims, lobbyism and stuff.
yeah, yeah. Major stuff. Major stuff. So check this out. The dark spot is kind of like where the most activity happened, right? And then most recently, as you guys can see, it's the second darkest, right? And then here you have the third and then fourth, right? So it's interesting that it seems like as time progresses, the changes are going to get darker, right? Because that's what we're seeing in this plot. The change is getting progressively darker. And that's positive, right? Because that means that the network effect is taking hold to some extent. That's what that means. Otherwise, you just wouldn't see these positive relations between let me myself another vantage point. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm just trying to give myself a visual that I'm not able to give myself. Yeah, this is annoying. Hey, I'm just mad.
Trying to go live. Shout out to Child.
Is he ready already?
We're holding him back.
You ready already? Because I know he's trying to play music at the beginning, so I was just buying time until he was ready. So just let me know when you're ready,
Yeah,
bro.
we're streaming over your music.
Yeah, basically. Basically. So let me see. Just show you
Music
guys
is
one more
fire,
chart. Yeah, of course. I'm not dissing the music. Let's not get that twisted because I'll be listening to it too. All right, let's look at total stakers versus the change in. Let's look at current stakers. This is the change in current stakers. Because again, this is an instrument where it's all about staking. It's not really about much else. So this is something that is pretty important to understand what the stats are telling us. Oh, this is an interesting plot, actually. Oh shit, hold on, because I put the things backwards. That's why it looks like that. There you go. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. So here we got current stakers versus the change. And as you guys can see, when the change is negative, it does highlight it. So we got negative 2,000 to positive 6,000 on the y-axis, right? Which kind of gives us a somewhat distorted view. So let me just tweak it a bit. But as you guys can see, it's kind of a good thing when got it. Hold on. Trying to catch something here. There we go. All right. So yeah, so we want. So you always want to change on Y when you're looking at a relational plot versus. Yeah, this is good. Versus something like this. Let me go to 25. And the reason you always want to look at the change versus the static element is because that static element is the pivot point to a certain extent, right? So if this is the reason, right, and by this I mean staking, is a reason for HEX existing. And what we're seeing is along this point in time is that the stake account continues to grow, right? This is a function of the network effect in essence, right? Now, what would be another way to look at this, and I'll wrap it up with that one final chart. But it's important for you guys to kind of wrap your head around what these data points are saying, because what's happening is this was the beginning, right? And this is the incidence of occurrences at this point in time when we had 100 to 2,000 to 20,000, 10,000 to 20,000 people becoming stakers. I think when I joined, it was probably right around 25,000 stakers or something like that. It wasn't that many stakers.
Yeah, around Big Payday was 25,000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
So this is why you got this incidence around here being so major because this is kind of the beginning, right? Big payday was also pretty prevalent, and you had a lot of churn, and you see it right in the data. This is why you have these jumps here, the increase. And I bet you if I go back, let me see if I can. Yeah, you go back, you see that the negative change also happened right around that 20,000 number, meaning it happened around big payday. So it just goes to show that people are always going to game the system if they can, right? But once we look closer, we see that there is evidence that there is growth in this system, right? Because how else would the staker count continue to grow?
Yeah.
Because that's what this is showing.
I mean, big
This,
payday was an anomaly because you have
yeah,
to remember that all of the available hex was
came out.
staked just for that one day.
Yeah, a lot of it, right? And then after and thereafter, you had this inflationary period, right, for that 1 year. And I think that this is when we started seeing these big jumps in the stake account. This is why you got this white space here, right? Because it's kind of like, well, what happened here? Why is this white gap? Well, what happened is that the stake account kept growing, but all the changes were bigger than normal,
Yeah.
right? And this must have been a function of pulse chain news, pulse X, all that stuff, just making people more aware. Um, and this is kind of again, how these things develop over time, right? And we see like all these big periods of growth, and this is what these charts highlighting over here. Now, the last chart I'll throw up, and then we'll pass it on to my man Thought, is the current stakers or current holders versus current stakers, right? Because you want to see who's actually staying in the system, right? Why that don't look right? Oh, hold on. Let's see. Boom. Wow, this is crazy. Hold on.
When I started, we had 3,000 stakers.
Wow, that's almost nothing, right?
Crazy. And
Yeah.
to see now more than 100,000,
Look at
that's
this.
saying something.
Look at this chart.
Mm.
Now, let me break this down and we'll wrap it up because this is pretty bullish. Now, I just made this up on the fly. I had to look at this
You and
data.
your boxes.
Yo, let me make a hex. Hold on, because you can make it a hex apparently. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, hold on. It's whatever, but I'll share it. uh, there we go.
That's more like it. The boxes is too Wall Street.
Nah, whatever. I just like it better because it's easier. It's more descriptive. Because if the image gets distorted because of some skew in the data, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
You see, like it's hard to see those boxes
Yeah,
when you're
how
looking
they
at them. You see what I'm saying? Like,
overlap and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like it's just not clean. That's kind of why I like the boxes better.
Yeah. Okay.
But either way, it still presents the same message, and that's bullish, right? I mean, look at with the current hold account, the current stake account is consistently growing.
Yeah.
Right. And this is really what you want to see when you're looking at network growth, because this is in a down market, right? I think the majority of this leg of the holder count growth has been during the down market in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And if not the whole 100,000, definitely these 50,000, because that's a lot of bodies right there. And
It
that's a lot
looks
of
like
stakers.
people are taking advantage of these prices when you look at these charts, even though we don't see it in the price performance at the moment. But I think that's what's happening,
It could very well be. I mean, it seems to be the case, right? Because why
which is
would,
healthy.
right? Well, of course. But when you sit here and think about it, why wouldn't they? Right? And that's kind of one of those things that you got to kind of wonder. Well, what's the motive,
Mm.
right? Damn. Hold on, let me change because this will be the last one to see if it looks good. Because it's a good relation to take into account. Um, like the holder growth versus the staker growth, and the change in the stakers over time also. And this is the current holders versus the change in the current stakers. And what you see is that at certain points in time, damn, this must have been big payday around here. because those are pretty big change. So this must have been big payday, and then we must be way past 300,000. We must be 3,000 something.
Holders, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what that number is. I would have to look it up. Let me see if I got it laying out somewhere. No, it doesn't look like it. But oh wait. Oh, what's the max? Yeah, I see it. Okay, so yeah. But again, right, it's just about understanding what's actually happening on the chain, right? Because if you look at this data set and you understand that a lot of this is really happening under the radar, right? Like Cryptomatic just said, you're not always going to see what's happening, right? It's not going to always be easy to spot. And this is why you have to sometimes look, and I'm going to show you guys an altered version of this plot, and that this will really be it. And this is taking out the negative changes and just leaving it to like the ones that don't distort the image as much. And again, what we're seeing is positive, very positive growth here, very positive change, right? Because the change in current stake is happening at a very high rate in this segment of the holder growth, right? And that's important to realize, because this is how we can have an understanding of what's going on, of how bullish or how bearish things really are. And I mean, if there's not any downside change, then who's going anywhere? Right? Seems like the system is building up pressure that's going to have to be released at some point. That's what it seems like. Right? So don't let the price on the chart fool you. Understand what's happening under the covers, because people are going to sell based on external factors, not necessarily what makes sense. So, yeah. Hope that was as enjoyable for you as it was for me.
Oh, I loved it. Follow me back on my Twitter, guys. If you have been following me before, it's at DJ Cryptomatic. I had to start over from scratch last week because they wouldn't give me my account back till to this day. I don't know why. But yeah, if you've been following me before, it would be nice if you could follow back. It's at DJ Cryptomatic, no underscores, nothing, just like that. And if you want me to talk Trump, we talk Trump.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. This account solely exists to show hex to the universe.
Oh,
so
man.
by following me, you're supporting that cause, nothing else.
Too funny. Follow the DJ, guys.
Yes, sir.
At DJ Cryptomatic, right there. Boom. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Cryptomatic, thank you guys for joining me. I hope the charts were good. There'll be more charts coming. But these are like very basic. I'm not getting fancy yet. Those are very basic. So, yeah. Peace.
Peace out.
Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody.